So here on the channel, I've always been a major advocate for talking about the goods and the bads about Nintendo and just basically their company as a whole in relation to the gaming industry. And this is no different. The Quack here is no different. I like to discuss goods and bads, positives and negatives, ups and downs of this company. And guess what I get to do today? I get to talk about some negatives. Recently, it was reported that Sonic Lost World, the Wii U exclusive for more than 2 years, is coming to PC. And actually, it's got a pretty good price so far. It's sitting at around $30 US, and it's also coming with a free copy of Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed if you pre-order. Now, I'm sure that number is going to get dropped after the pre-order is out. This is probably not free, I'm sure. I mean, come on, guys. It's the gaming industry nowadays. I mean, is free ever really a factor? Now, naturally, my reaction to this was a little bit mundane. I was not shocked at all. If anything, I was like, good for them. I didn't feel betrayed as a Wii U owner. I didn't really feel like I was losing my mind like some people usually do with these kinds of things, because I am a person who can look at the positive and negatives of a company. One little incident doesn't freak me out. But this has happened multiple times. I think Wii U owners should feel slightly betrayed. Now, that doesn't mean I did, but I do think Wii U owners have a reason to be slightly upset with Nintendo on this matter, and I guess Sega too, because, you know, they did publish the game. So this kind of poses the question, is Nintendo not really giving Wii U owners what they deserve, exclusive fun games to play on their platform? Because I can tell you right now, I know a few people who wouldn't have bought a Wii U if they didn't get Sonic Lost World. I mean, I did tell them, like, hey, you probably shouldn't buy a Wii U for that, but they're Sonic fans. They're not crazy Sonic fans, but they wanted to play the latest Sonic game, and they were a little lackluster about the game and kind of regretted their Wii U purchase, and, you know, I can't really blame them for that. Sonic Lost World is not a bad game. It isn't. It has its ups and downs. It definitely has good moments in the game, and I personally like it a lot from what I've played. I do not own the game, and I have not beaten it yet, but I have played a good hefty part of it, and it is fun. But it's not worth buying a console over, but there is a demographic of people out there who wanted to do that, and did. So when something like this gets announced, I can see there being a slight backlash on that, because it has happened before. Let's look at the recent one. Zombie U recently got announced to be ported to the PS4 and the Xbox One, titled Zombie. It's actually already out. So I can see where people bought the Wii U for that experience, that horror experience, and you got that. And I didn't really care originally because I was like, oh, that's Ubisoft being Ubisoft, and who really cares? But now, we're seeing it happen again, and I fear that we're going to continue to see this trend of exclusivity on the Wii U going away, because the industry doesn't have faith in Nintendo as a company with this console, and they kind of want them to move on to the NX.
Who even cares about keeping games like that when you got something like this coming out in the next few days?
It's probably a reason why we haven't seen a company like Square Enix dive into the Wii U yet, aside from Deus Ex Human Revolution. Nintendo and Square, like, as a partnership with consoles, hasn't been there for quite a while. Yeah, I mean, Deus Ex was great, but, I mean, come on now. Like, how many people actually bought that game on the Wii U? Recently, I have been searching around kind of on forums. I wanted to see what people had to say about this. I went to a few Nintendo websites and checked out their comment sections about these news stories, and I gotta say, I wasn't seeing that many good comments about this. It wasn't just about elitist fans just complaining that, oh, like, this game is going from the Wii U and no one else should be able to play it besides us. It's more of disappointment, and I can see why they would feel that way. Because, again, you promised us an exclusive experience on this console, and now you're stripping it from us, so why would we buy it on your console? I actually saw people not wanting to buy the newest Fatal Frame that's coming out on the Wii because they were like, oh, well, if Tecmo Koei ever gets the full rights back to it, I'll just buy it for another system. Nintendo, that's bad. When I see a substantial amount of people saying that, that shows a complete lack of faith in your company. But let's look at one of the bigger examples of this rather than Zombie U and Sonic Lost World. Rayman Legends. And guys, I understand this is on the third-party companies, but at the same time, is Nintendo going out and offering a substantial amount of money to keep these exclusive? Are they offering anything good to these developers, some type of deal, something to entice them to keep it on their system? I mean, I'm just a YouTuber, I don't know, which is why I'm posing this question, because we don't know. Me and you, we have no idea about this. Rayman Legends was a game solely in development for the Wii U. When it was first announced, it was just a Wii U exclusive. Back in February 2013 though, just a few short weeks before the game was going to release, Ubisoft pulled that support, pushed the game back, delayed it to August of that year, and brought it out to the PS3 and the 360. Now, why did this happen? Because third-party companies don't trust their games on Nintendo systems. And exclusivity is like the last thing that they can really sell the Wii U on, so they better hold on to as much as they can. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing a lack of faith by the fan base. We're also seeing a lack of faith by third-party companies. those things meshed together don't entirely spell a good future for Nintendo. Nintendo losing exclusives isn't exactly a new story either, but it seems to be happening just a wee bit more in recent years. We're seeing it even with like indie games like Scram Kitty and His Buddy on Rails. That was supposed to be a Wii U exclusive originally, and it's on other systems. That also creates another problem. Do indies fully trust Nintendo with their games? We're seeing the upcoming Fast Racing Neo gonna be exclusive on Nintendo systems. Is that going to sell well to warrant a possible sequel in that game? Apparently Fast Racing League must have sold well on the original Wii. Apparently Nano Assault Neo must have sold well to keep that game exclusive, but I don't want that to happen with Fast Racing Neo. I want that game to sell like hotcakes. I want them to know that their fan base is primarily on Nintendo systems. I want them to know they can fully trust that so they can take advantage of Nintendo hardware from now on. I want companies to trust in Nintendo again. I want them to know that their games are going to sell well on Nintendo systems, because then Nintendo fans will get stuff like that, because then the Wii U won't just be a secondary console. That's where it starts, guys. And you can bring up your whole conspiracy theories about, oh, third-party companies don't care about Nintendo, they don't want to make good games for Nintendo, so they push out crappy ports on Nintendo systems. And while I believe that to be true to an extent, I don't fully, because they did take the time to at least put something on the system.
Activision is the bane of AAA development.
Companies like Criterion with the Wii U version made a brilliant port of Need for Speed Most Wanted U on the Wii U. It was fantastic. Ubisoft has also made great games for the Wii U like Rayman Legends, Zombie U, and even the Just Dance titles. What I believe it to be is strictly Nintendo maybe just not reaching out to these companies, maybe not providing enough service to them. And I don't only mean money with that. I mean, you gotta work on your relationships with third-party developers too. The entire industry is built on trust, which is why I think in the past year, we've seen pre-orders go down. We've seen game sales take a little bit of a step down because a lot of fans aren't trusting big AAA companies anymore because they're not putting out as good of stuff. I want nothing but the best for Nintendo. I want them to thrive in the gaming industry. I want them to be one of the more popular gaming companies again. I want that to happen for them. But you gotta start somewhere. They gotta start structuring correctly again. They gotta work on third-party relationships. They got to fix some of this stuff. And they have great relationships with people like Capcom and Bandai Namco and Ubisoft, and then like Platinum Games, because they fully created Bayonetta 2 and the Wonderful 101. They made that happen. They're working on a new Star Fox game. They are doing good things with some third-party developers. So about the beginning, I don't love talking about Nintendo in a negative light. I think some people are gonna get that from what I was trying to do. And that's fine. I mean, if I sold a good sarcastic character well, then that's great acting on my part, and I should be thanked for that. Because, you know, as you guys know, I am the best Nintendo representation that there is on YouTube.